I ended up on SVU, where they called me in to do 4 episodes. I've been on there 27 years, which makes me the longest running actor in a continuous role in television history. So here you go. Career criminal to be the longest running cop in history. Try to make that make sense.
Hey everyone, I'm Denisa Tova, your host of Beyond the Bar podcast. And today's guests are two people the public thinks it already knows, but usually that's a problem. We know the image, the headlines, the clips, but we don't always know the human beings underneath all of that. So today, I want to get past the obvious and have a real conversation. I am joined by two people who have built a massive business enterprise, but they built life, family, relationship on their own terms in full view of the world. Ice-T and Coco Austin, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to kick it with something that I personally find important is, what makes you really laugh?
Well, he's harder to laugh than me. I'm laughing all the time at stupid things I'm laughing at, and he's just kind of rolling his eyes at me all the time. So it takes a lot more for him. When you laugh at more of like dark stuff.
Yeah, but
right?
I mean, I think we both laugh a lot. We love comedy.
That's true.
I think, since I do such hardcore music and stuff, and mostly people think I'm serious, but nah, it's a lot of joking. It's a lot of laughter in our house, in our life.
I'm more of a goofball. I do stupid things to get people laughing at, because people don't think that they're going to see that from me. They see a different side of me, but at home, I'm like way goofballish,
Yeah.
He'll tell you.
Yeah, she's a super happy person.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I think it's so important. I think when you start taking yourself way too seriously, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what? No, I can't. I want to tell you something. You might not remember this, but you did a cameo video. This was a few years ago for me, and you had a couple of questions, and one of them was actually what makes you laugh. And I don't want to, I'm maybe paraphrasing, but you did mention like stand-up comedy and stuff like that, but you did mention also, I think it was your friend Melly Mel.
Yeah.
And you did. I think you did share a story about him getting a prostate check.
Nah, look, certain friends are stand-up comedians, and they're not really stand-up comedians. Like,
Right.
You have those one friend that always are telling jokes. And black guys, well, I don't know. I'm not a white guy, so I don't live in the white guy world. But in my world, mostly when guys are hanging around, all they do is, can I say the word shit on here?
You can drop the F-bomb. You can say, well, the F.
Okay.
Yes.
We talk shit about each other. So we call it bagging, or we call it playing the dozens. But it's constantly insults that go back and forth at each other. And Melly Mel, I have another good friend named Mickey, and he said that Mickey went to get a prostate check, and he started to go back every day. And then he started to bring the guy flowers. So this is the kind of stuff that guys throw back and forth at each other, and you gotta laugh. We all gotta laugh. And when guys shoot the dozens or we play back and forth, you lose if you get mad. If you get mad, then you lose the game. So we shoot at each other, and you just gotta laugh.
So, Coco, you said you're a little goofball, or maybe I said that about you. What is that? What movie would make you laugh?
What movie?
Yeah, or
Oh,
show.
I'm pretty easy to laugh at everything. I don't know. We don't even watch that much like romantic comedies together, so they actually make me laugh. So
Yeah.
those are fun. But I think it's the fact that I have a daughter that is of age that wants to laugh all the time. I'm always trying to get her to smile, and I try to force the issue all the time because these like 10-year-old kids are walking around with their head down all the time, and so I'm trying to like joke all, and I'm doing bad jokes. I'm doing bad jokes that are obvious that you need to laugh at it because there's nothing better to do just to laugh at me, and I'm just doing that around the house all day that everybody catches on. And so it's not really movies. I think it's things throughout the day. I'm laughing at the dogs. I'm laughing at ice. I'm laughing. So I'm making, and it's all good fun. I'm making comments, and it's laughable.
Coco is super positive. Like one of the first things when I met her, she was the first person or female, anybody that I knew that woke up in the morning happy. Like just happy, like today's going to be a good day. And as a man, you need that because there's a lot of stuff going on in our lives. You got a lot of different negative things going on, and just to wake up every day with somebody that was happy versus somebody rolling out the bed angry, mad, already bitching about life it's a great thing. And it was like, she knows that. I said, you're the first person I ever seen that wakes up happy.
And don't get me wrong, I wake up like dead tired just like everybody else.
Yeah.
But like in my head, I have a new day. I woke up and I have a new day. You could go to bed and not wake up. So I wake up and like, okay, let's do this thing. That's my energy. People feed off of my energy. A lot of family members, friends, they always say that. Of course, I give out too much energy of mine because it gets sucked out. But I do have a lot of energy. My family calls me the Energizer Bunny because I'm always like, go, 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 go. I got an Oura ring just recently just to see how many steps I take, and didn't even know just on a regular basis without even going to the gym. I'm getting 12,000 steps in a day. And it's almost like, oh yeah, that's just the Energizer Bunny in me. But I wake up tired just like everybody else. You just have to have a good attitude.
I believe that your attitude is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a choice. I could be having the most negative day, and I can let everybody know that it's negative by me acting negative. Or I can say, okay, that's negative, but I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to smile through it and enjoy the greater part. I can stay on that, but I'm like, yo, you're alive, you're healthy, you got a great family, you got other things, and that negative is going to pass. It's going to pass. So we're both very optimistic people.
I love that. I love that because you're right. It is almost like a discipline. I think we're programmed as a nation and civilization to be at war and conflict, right? And so you can in the middle of something go, well, okay, now I can choose. And it's a perspective. And it's almost like brushing your teeth. You can really almost force yourself into smile. And no one's talking about happiness. We're just talking about the lightness and joy. That's all.
Yeah.
I think it's perspective. I think a lot of stuff has to deal with this perspective. I think, some people are physically depressed, and that's a real thing. I get it. But I think a lot of depression has to deal with perspective. Like, you could sit around and be mad, and maybe you need to go to Africa, or maybe you need to go and see adverse poverty. Maybe, I've been places like Brazil and to the favelas, and you come back and you say, I got a lot of nerve to bitch about anything.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? And then, or you go to a hospital and you see people that are paralyzed and driving wheelchairs with a straw in their mouth. You get that perspective, and I always look at it like, I'm not a religious person, but I believe if you bitch about life, if there is a God, God will say, you think that's a problem? Try this, cancer, motherfucker. Like, let's try this. You want to see what a problem really is. And I'm fortunate that I don't have those debilitating problems, so I choose to be happy.
You guys have been together. I can see this why. a long time. Was it like 25 years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
25.
You know, that's impressive. And, you know, I'm wondering, and I don't know if this holds true with you or not, but, you know, like in my relationship, second relationship, and now at first it started as a friendship. So you have the foundation, you know, where you know, just sort of, you really get to know each other, and then you
Get
go through
comfortable.
seasons. Exactly. And then the rest of the stuff is just a small insignificant shit, right? Over time, because you have a solid foundation. I mean, you met 25 years ago. You kind of, what was it about each other that you realized that that's the person, like that's it? What was it?
Well, as a guy,
Attraction.
you need to find a girl that turns you the fuck on. Like
Well, yeah.
whatever it is, she turns you the fuck on. And
Yeah.
you need somebody that'll make you want to stay in the house. You need to say, okay. And when I met Coco, I was like, yo, she was bad enough, she was cool enough. Then her personality kicked in. But I believe it always starts with physical attraction. You know,
Yeah.
if you can't imagine yourself being intimate with a person, it doesn't go anywhere. It just ends right there. So that starts, you have physical attraction, then you have mental attraction. Whereas you conversate
And then you have to like their vibe, because you can be thrown off. You like the attraction, but the vibe is thrown off.
yeah, I'm like, let's go get high, let's go do some drugs. You'd be like, oh, I'm not into that. So now we're not attracted. If you're physically and mentally attracted, then you'll usually ask for the phone number. Now we're moving to the next stage. Then you go into mental compatibility, where over a period of time, we start to talk and you figure out, could I deal with this person over a period of time? And then finally, physical compatibility is when you figure out if this shit really hits. And depending on how high you hit in those four categories depends on how serious the relationship could be. And we hit high scores in all four categories.
Right away.
Yeah.
Right away. Yeah. I think it was the perfect time too. I mean, we both went through a relationships, and then we were at that mode where it was perfect time. And then I was at the perfect age, I think so, and he was at the perfect age. We talk about this all the time with family and friends about the age thing, because you have to be right in the peak of your time to be with that person. Like I have to be with more mature men. That's I feel like way more mature. I've always been independent as a female. So therefore, I need a stable, independent man, which usually happens later on in life. I can't take, a young in 20, guys in their 20s, because they're not really stable. So I have to go way above and beyond. So I've always been one to look at older men, and that's not even that much older. I'm just like, it just has to fit where I'm at in life.
They say when a woman finds the right man, it's the right time. When a man hits the right time, he'll be ready for the right woman. So I don't think I don't think any guy should be getting married before 35. I just think men. And I'll explain that. You guys, especially pretty women, life opens up for you at 16 years old.
Really early.
Like at 18, your guys are getting in clubs. You got guys. Your life happens. By 21, you've done every damn thing. Especially if you're attractive, you've seen it all. You've had everything. 22. Guys' lives don't really open until they're in their late 20s, because I didn't get in a Mercedes Benz till I bought one. I've never had anyone take me out to dinner. Like I couldn't get into the club. So men have to get their money together before life opens. So at 27, the guy's life is just starting, and you're done. You guys are done. So you're done. So the woman is tight. Is closing shop around 27 because she sees 30. We're like, hey, it's on. So two people at the same age are in two different places. You guys mature faster than us because life opens for you sooner. So 10 years, 5, 10, 15, whatever it takes. Also, if a guy is anywhere near your age, most women have dated older guys. So their reference point is different. So here you are, you're coming in young, and she's like, well, I've already been with a guy that had a house, a car, a boat, all that shit. And here you are talking about you're fixing up your Honda. I don't know. you know? So that gap is necessary,
It is.
honestly, and don't take
Yeah.
this wrong, for a female to even pay attention. You know, she's like, you got to have a little bit of experience
Yeah.
for me to take any guidance or anything. Like, how you gonna guide me when I've done more than you?
I always try to tell my family members or people, all of the women around me that are single, like what I've done, and no one for some reason likes to take my advice. I don't know what
Why?
it is. They'll ask for my advice all the dang time.
Yeah.
And I'll tell them like what I've done and what has worked in the past, and no one wants to take it.
You know what they call that? That's called an asshole. That's an asshole. Someone who asks for your advice but never takes it. That's
Oh God. Yeah.
you
No.
like that word, didn't it?
I love it. Yes.
An asshole. Don't ask me
asshole.
shit. An
That's it.
asshole.
You're wasting my time. I wasted hours trying to tell you what to do.
So we were in the right place. Another thing is, I believe, is that you have to match energies, not necessarily money. Did we freeze?
Yes.
Oh, not necessarily money or anything, but energies. Meaning, if you're a very attractive woman, you need a guy that's not intimidated by that. If you're
That's true.
If you're a guy like me that has a little energy behind me because of my celebrity, you don't need a woman that's intimidated at. So when Coco walks in the room, she spins the room because she's Coco. But when I walk in the room, I spin the room too. You dig? We don't have to be together. We both have that same kind of energy. So it matches and we're not intimidated by each other because, you know, she's the shit and I'm the shit.
Yeah, that's a power right there. Yep. Yeah. No, I know. I hear you. So there's compatibility through and through. I mean, let's be real though, too. I mean, we're not talking about unicorns and roses. I mean, shit goes down in any relationship. What was the one thing that each of you had to, I guess, unlearn? I'm not saying that there was a demand to change, right? But what was it about each other that you guys had to unlearn in the relationship to make things work?
Well, let me.
I know mine. I know mine. And you probably are going to agree with me.
I'll say the first thing you have to do is you have to wipe the slate clean from your past. Meaning, whatever your ex required could be totally different from this new person.
Like a reset button.
You got to reset.
Okay, reset.
Her ex was different than me, so the way I like it or the way I feel. So you can't say, "Well, I thought it was going to be like." No. This is a whole new person. And if you do that, you get a chance to, like you say, start over again with a new person, brand new thing. What about you?
Well, I was going to say, since I was young, I was 22, almost 23 when I met him. So I was going through my party years. And so, you know, instead of him toning me down, he kind of just went along with me, but I had to learn along the way, and he had to let me learn because there were so many things that I had to, my whole 20s was with him. That's when everybody parties, has a good time, you know, goes to college, often does all this wild stuff. I'm like learning with him. So I feel like he had to kind of just bow his head and just like direct me, but not like fully like put me in the corner and time out. You know, just like learn along the way, because he was older, so he's been through what I've been through. So I think that's mine. I
look at it like this.
You agree with me?
Yeah, I agree. When you're an older cat, right? I've been to Disneyland, right? I've been to Disneyland. I done hit every club. I done partied. I've been around the world and She hasn't. Just because I'm leaving Disneyland, I can't tell her you don't want to go.
Right.
I now know, okay, I'm about to have to go back into Disneyland with her, you know, but now when we go in, I'm like, okay, let me explain to you some of the potholes that are involved in this. I've learned about them. Coco's from Arizona. So Coco could go out, party, get drunk, pass out, and she would always make it home because everyone in AZ knew her. It's a small town. She moved to New York City, and I had to let her know, you're in New York. If I blink, I may never see you again. This place is the big city. And the fact that she came to live with me, you know, I felt responsible. Her father co-signed it, mom's. but I can't call them up and say I lost Coco. Like I don't like
No.
you know. So with, I had to just say, yo, we
Yeah.
got to be a little bit more responsible.
To answer your question, I had to change my ways about that, you know, because I was
Led him, right? Like allowed
yeah,
him to do that. Yeah.
I was doing it differently in Arizona, and when I came to New York, I had to change my ways.
Mm.
So
Mostly safety purposes,
right,
you know.
right.
Mostly
Yeah.
safety purposes, you know.
Yeah.
Small town people. I mean, Arizona is a small town.
Now it's, I mean, now it's bigger,
Yeah,
but back then it wasn't as big.
but everything is a small
Right.
town compared to New York City.
Everything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The
yes.
person you see in New York, you will never see again. It's like
Mhm.
you're dealing with millions and millions of
Right.
people. So, you know, I was just, you know, a little bit like, you know, we just got to, you know,
Mhm.
be cautious. Plus, I'm from the streets, so I see things a little bit different. I see threats that maybe her boyfriend didn't see.
Mhm.
And a lot of the threats we saw played out, you know,
Really.
where she was like, "Oh wow," you know, we would be out someplace and there'd be a fight on the other side of the room. I'm like, that fight over there will be over here in a second, and it did. It just moved right across the room. Next thing you know, we're in the middle of it. I'm like, yo, so you know, gotta. And she learned that. Now she's on point, and you know, she understands the game.
I was always wearing rose-colored glasses all the time, and that's my innocence. I'm not innocent anymore. I know what's going on. I know the world. I know how hateful it is. I've changed my tune. I am a completely different person than I was in my 20s than I am now in my 40s. Almost 50, rounded off. We always round our age up.
Yep. Yep. In that club. You know what? Though?
Yeah.
I call it I don't give a fuck club. When you get to 50, I'm 50, I think I'm 51. It's just, I don't know if you noticed it, but I think the older you get, you know, the less you really do care about small, insignificant
It's so
stuff.
true.
I
Yeah.
rounded
So
up.
true.
You know, I mean, I look good for 75.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
So
He likes to round up. So when I
if you
turn
make it
40,
higher, you'll always get compliments. If you go up, you can always
yeah,
make
he
compliments.
go up too much. That's the thing. He goes up way too high. But you only do a little increments. Like when I turned 40, which was a while ago, when I turned 40, he's like, okay, yeah, you're 50. I'm like, well, wait a second.
Slow
I
down.
just turned 40.
Like, wait.
Now I could say I'm almost 50, but come on, like you round it up in 10 increments.
Yeah.
Like,
if you go backwards, then you might get dissed. If you're 47 and you try to say you're 39, they'd be like, yeah, you must have been living a hard life, you know. So I, you know, to me, you know, they say you're as young as the woman that's feeling you. So
You know what? This is great. This is I love the, I love the flow. This is a great flow. You know, Coco, though, I mean, don't think naive. I mean, that's maybe gain more experience, but
yeah,
I mean, you were building a name and brand for yourself like way before the Kardashians. I mean, you weren't you? I mean, you had a brand.
Yeah. I was like 10 years before the Kardashians.
I
People thought
know.
that I was behind her, but I mean, she was ahead of me. But no, it was like during that time with J-Lo, Cindy Margolis, like those were the happening girls back when I was growing up. But yeah, it was early 2000s, and I didn't really accept my body type. That was I mean, I was a model before I met Ice. I think that's a little tweak that people think that when I met Ice I became a model, and I was a model way before I met him. And this was in the 90s when everything was like a twig. Like everybody wanted to be a waif looking model. Everybody in California wanted the big boobs, long lengthy legs, really tall. Like that was like the epitome like image of the best looking supermodel, I guess. And everybody wanted to be that way. So including me, and I'm only 5'2", so I didn't get that, you know, height. I didn't get the height, but I was always trying to not eat and do whatever I could to be super skinny. So there's actually pictures of me super skinny because I just did whatever I could. I hit that little bulimia. I had a little bulimia in my life just because I didn't want to gain weight. And that was like what was the shit back in the day.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I met Ice later on that he likes thicker women. So he appreciated my body, and he actually met me not super skinny, but like in that middle range of I still had a thicker body. Not that I have the thickerest body, I think, now because we've been together for so long. But when I met him, he realized that, and I told him, I'm like, I'm modeling, and this is what I have to do to model in the California limelight. And then he's like, no, you got to accept your body. You got to like, this is unique.
Look, when I first met her, right, when we first met, she was introduced to me by my friend at a video shoot, and when I turned around, and all I could see was her teeth. She was so close to me.
Yeah, we were like this close.
She had perfect teeth. Then I opened my eyes and I seen her big boobs. I'm like, okay, blonde chick, big boobs, I get it. And then she turned around and walked away, and I seen she had a butt, and I'm like, that's a fucking unicorn. Like, where the fuck? What the fuck just happened? So I had to reintroduce myself in order to close the deal. But you know, later on, as we started to date and we were going this, that, and the other, one day she told me, she goes, "Oh, you like my butt? My butt will grow if I eat."
Well, I didn't know like men like butts like that. Butts weren't a thing back then. Butts were not a thing. That people have to like kind of go towards like the 90s.
Right.
It wasn't like it was a thing in his world. In I guess
black men
always love
we like some meat on our bones. Let's just put it
like
that.
My world. And so when he says, "Oh," I'm like, "You like my butt? Oh, wait, I can make it grow. Watch it. I can make my butt grow." So I just, mashed potatoes, macaroni. I could show him that.
Oh my God!
Me lifting enough weight, I have the genetics that all I got to do is be in the gym for like 2 weeks and it can grow. And I'm like, that's just who I am. So I was like, screw this diet that I'm on. I guess I'm on the new Coco like branding. So that's how it all came about, because Ice kind of accepted that told me to accept my body and this unique. And I started branding who I was as a healthy, curvy woman. So I stepped out of the lane when no one was out of the lane at that time.
And what happened was, due to the fact she was already modeling, I'm not going to try to change you. I'm just going to try to maximize what you do. So I said, well, look, what you're doing as a model is you're going to these photographers and they're paying you $1,000, $2,000 for a photo shoot, and they own all the pictures.
Yeah.
I said, how about this? We pay them $1,000, $2,000, and you own all the pictures. And then that way you control your image, and because when they take models and they shoot them, your image could end up anywhere, on an ad, any place else. It could be on phones. It could be anywhere maybe that you don't want. Mm-hmm. But that was the deal. They pay you and you work. So we flipped the script, and we had the money to pay the photographer. She would shoot 4 or 5 different sessions a day and put it up on her website. And when we first got together, I told Coco, I can't be your manager. I'm not an agent. What I can be is a consultant. I am not going to tell you what to do, but if you hit a problem or a question, ask me and I'll give you my opinion. You could take it or leave it. But you see grown-ass men waiting hours to talk to me for my opinion, right? So it's valid. Now, I will not get involved in any of your business unless I see you doing something terribly wrong. And if I do, I will explain to you why this is going to result in this. And even after that, you can still do it. It's on you, but I'll tell you. Coco takes advice. She's not somebody that's like, and I wanted everything to happen for her. I feel a woman, put it like this, I got enough accolades. Look, I got gold records, and I mean, I've done my thing. I'm cool. I don't need any more accolades. She needs accolades because that builds character. Everything she does, she did it. I did not do it, because some guys want to take all the credit. Why? What part of the game is that? Why?
But I was one of the first, and I think that's the thing, is I was one of the first to step out of the lane, and that's how
Yeah.
I branded Coco. You know, I stepped out, not only out of the lane, but I was a white girl that was curvy. J-Lo, she's like Latina, and she's curvy. But that was during that time, like everybody had their own lane, and I stepped out the waif lane. And I started doing all these magazines, numerous magazines,
100 covers, right?
calendars, yeah,
Wow.
100. It just goes on. Someday I'm going to put them all together so everybody can see, because I don't think really people know now. But DVDs, I mean, I had 4 websites at one time, and I was actually one of the first models to have a website, because back then that was like your business, first of all, and no one really had, like, no, that was, you weren't being represented by anybody but photographers, but your own website you could do something about. Remember, we paid for a website, and it was like a huge thing to put like whatever $10, $15, $20,000 into your own business. That was crazy.
We applied the same way we sell records independently to her marketing photos. The same exact way. You do it yourself, you own it, you put out what you want. And you know, she was really, really successful at it. And being that early in the game, you know, being a white chick that was pushing the curvy thing, it made her alone in the field.
Yep.
You know, and
I love it.
Not many people wanted to do it. They were scared. They were nervous. I had the balls to do it.
And
You
Coco
do.
to me,
You
Coco
do.
to me was the first influencer.
Yes.
I feel I
Yes.
was too.
Because, and all an influencer is if I do something, will other people follow and do it? If I, you know, if I say, hey, you know what, I got this, you know, this is Coco's makeup. If this is what I wear and other people do it, then you have influence. So she was doing it, and she started getting deals with people to do this, that, and the third. But you always made sure anything she promoted, she really believed in.
Oh yeah, that was one thing. I didn't want to just like put my name on it or be a part of it when I wasn't passionate about it. I have to try it, feel good about it, then talk about it. So everything that I have on my websites and Instagram, I've really been into, you know, in a big way. But going back to like the original, I feel like it, you know, I represented the sexy, curvy girl, and everybody kind of shunned away. They were always rolling their eyes about like, whoa, that's too sexy. I would go down red carpets, like overly sexy, but that's who I was. I was wearing the see-through clothes. Now Kim Kardashian puts on and everybody is like, oh, that's amazing. When I put it on back on the day on the red carpet, they were calling me every slut, whore, prostitute, everything possible, because again, I was paving the way for these things, but it wasn't accepted yet. It wasn't accepted. People were like, oh my God, I can't believe she did that. But now, 25 years later, all these celebrities are doing it. Now it's accepting. Well, someone had to do it. I was one of them.
You are.
Really talk about that. Honestly.
Pioneers usually don't get the credit.
Yeah. You are the OG. You know what? I want to tell you. I want to tell you something. I want to pause you, because what you just described, and that's the story behind it, that I'm so glad it's coming out. You know, I came here as an immigrant when I was a teenager, all by myself, and you know, had in my teens eating disorder, bulimia, all that stuff too, and then got into bodybuilding and just kind of like follow just a natural path, you know. And it was not until I started to own myself, my body, my attitude, even in this, I mean, I'm in the legal industry, very conservative industry, but this is me. And because it's up here and it's the total thing. And so for you, with Isis Alb, is it's always been there, and he helped to bring that out, and look at the power that you had, and you brought it up, and you probably inspired more people that you knew at that time. And you're right, you had the balls to do it and run with it. I mean, what an incredible story, and to even share, you know, one day with your daughter too. It's probably
one thing though, she couldn't have married an attorney, or she couldn't have married a politician. She had to marry a rock star. She had to marry someone that was into entertainment,
Yes.
because it works with what,
Yep.
with us.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
she'd be way too outrageous for a doctor. He'd lose his fucking mind. Like you say, you're an attorney. You live in a conservative world. They're different worlds.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and like when I do my lectures, we step into a conservative world.
I transcend.
Yeah.
To rock.
What do you do? I mean, how you hide yourself?
Yeah, a little bit. Get a little more conservative. Because
I get it.
We're going into a different room. We're going into. I do too. I do too.
Yeah.
So there's a rap iced tea.
Like you have to morph into what's in front of you.
Yeah.
The group that's in front of you, because they won't take you seriously until you morph into that zone.
Right. So you got the rap iced tea. You got the rock iced tea. You got the player iced tea, where we go out to the players' balls and have a good time with all the players. Then you've got the conservative iced tea, where I'm doing a lecture, or I'm doing a book signing, or something or I'm speaking at a school or a university. Those. So you got to know got to know how to play the room. We all do.
Yeah.
In life.
That's true.
What Ice-T, what's your story? I mean, how do you go from a guy from a kid from New Jersey to becoming Ice-T?
Wow. Let's see how fast I can tell this. Born in Newark, New Jersey. I lost my mother when I was in the 3rd grade. She passed away from a heart attack. I lost my father when I was in the 7th grade. I was moved to Los Angeles to live with an aunt. I lived with her. I went to Crenshaw High School, which was the gang-infested high school. I never joined the gang, but I was connected to the streets through all kinds of things. At 17, I had my first apartment, and I had a girlfriend who ended up pregnant. So I had a daughter when I was 18 years old. That triggered me to go into the Army, where I did 4 years. When I came out of the Army, I was connected to my friends who were full-blown criminals. We were robbing jewelry stores. We were doing all kinds of things to get money. And I was successful at that. I never went to prison. I never got caught for about 5 years. So now about 27, hip hop hit, and I started to rap because I wanted to get out of that life. I knew that life is not where you retire. That's where you try to get what we call a war chest and then maybe move out quick. That was the game I was taught. And I started to rap. But as I rapped, I started to rap about the streets because that's what I knew. And I invented what they call gangster rap with help from a guy named Schoolie D that was in Philly who inspired me to do a song called 6 in the Morning. That led to music, albums, gold records, and then I created a band called Body Count, which was my metal band, which is still out on tour now today, who did the infamous song Cop Killer. I got hit by Congress and all that bullshit and everything. And during all this music stuff, I got a chance to be in a movie. The only reason they asked me to be in a movie was there weren't that many black actors at the time. And I did a movie called New Jack City. New Jack City put me in the game for acting. Then now I'm acting. I'm doing Johnny Mnemonic with Keanu Reeves. I'm doing Surviving the Game with Rutger Hauer and Gary B. So I'm doing all these movies. Then I get a call to be in a television show called New York Undercover, which was a Dick Wolf production. I did that show. Dick Wolf said, I don't want to kill him. I ended up doing more of those shows. Since then, I've done 5 Dick Wolf productions. I ended up on SVU, where they called me in to do 4 episodes. I've been on there 27 years, which makes me the longest running actor in a continuous role in television history. So here you go. Career criminal to be the longest running cop in history. Try to make that make sense. I don't know, but I've taken.
There's a lot in there. I know we don't have the time to just to get in there, but
that's the abridged story.
Wow, There's a lot. I do have a follow-up question, but Coco, I'm same question for you. I mean, tell me your story. How did you, how did you get to, you started talking about modeling in your 20s? What about before then? Well, tell me about.
I heard you said about fitness act, and it's a natural thing.
Yeah.
Because I was working at a gym at 18 years old. And first of all, let me go way back even before that. Like around 12, 11, living with my grandparents, my grandfather had a collection of Playboy magazines. And it was like a huge collection. And we would sneak in the garage and look at these magazines. And I would be like, oh my God, I want to be one of these girls one day. This is what I want to be. This is my calling right here. And so I already said that way in life. My whole family knew about it. It wasn't even a secret. And so I just, in my head, that's where I wanted to be someday, was not just a Playboy model, but to look like one of those girls. So I was like this brown haired, like green eyed, really white skinned girl as a little skinny girl as a little girl, but I wanted to blossom and be the big boob blonde, that's who I wanted to be. And I got there because I was so anxious that was my passion. So I worked at the gym at 18 years old. I slowly transformed into this, by the way, but I started because I was into fitness. That's where I was always a very athletic female, and I could actually go in the gym, and I wouldn't have to do that much to be athletic in person. I really wouldn't have to do, because it was just like my genetics, right? And so I met a photographer at the gym, and he's like, I got to take some pictures of you. You are, your body is amazing. And then I also do Miss Eugenia Fitness. And Miss Eugenia Fitness, people from all the world come in, compete in this particular competition. And usually it's in Mexico, but the actual company is in California. So he put me onto this, being in this fitness competition. I was like, oh no, I guess I can. I'll give it a try, And then he put in the back of my head, just so you know, you have to go maybe 3 or 4 times to get in the groove before you can even win anything. So I already put in the back of my head, hey, this is more as an adventure with me. I'm just going to have fun with it. So he took pictures of me, sent my pictures in. I kind of did a little dilly-dally, get prepared for it at the gym. I went to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, to compete in this. That was my very first fitness competition ever. And it was the most hard competition I'll ever be in to this day, because they did everything to see how athletic you are, from playing volleyball to running.
Wow.
They want to see you in full mode, not just on stage showing your stuff, but they want to see what your talents are. I actually danced in it. That was my talent. I danced. And I couldn't believe I actually won the dang thing.
Wow.
I was like, they already told me it's going to take 2, 3, or 4 years. But I was like, wow, I was passionate about it, and I made it happen. But that competition led me in, like you said, into open more doors. Then I went to Swimsuit Illustrated, and that went into another door. So it was opening all these doors, and I could see that that's my opening to bikini modeling. So I would always go to California and do all these calendars, and I would start my kind of career there. And that's why I would always, like I tell you, I always have to stay fit, skinny, and I would evolve from there as into this little skinny brown hair girl to what I am now. It took kind of a while though. I didn't want to be like a full blonde. This is funny. The first time, I didn't want to be fully blonde. I just wanted some highlights, right?
Yeah.
And I went 18 years old. I remember going to a salon, and this gay guy was putting some highlights in my hair, and he's like, well, I can tell you this. In a year, you'll be platinum. And I was like, what are you talking about? I can't see myself platinum. I just want a couple color in my hair. I mean, I'm a brunette. I could never see myself not being a brunette, right? I was like, I just want a little bit of blonde. And he's like, in a year it'll change. And I'm telling you, I think of him to this day, because in a year, a little bit more highlights and went for a little bit more highlights and more and more and more. Eventually, you just go platinum.
Yep. Yeah, you don't go back. Yep.
And you don't go back. So I
No.
remember to this day that guy. So it's the truth. But yeah, I kind of developed from there. And then my sister, she put me on to Playboy. She said that they're looking for Playboy models and to go for an audition in Phoenix, Arizona. So I went for my audition. It was the weirdest thing. You go in there and this is the day of Polaroids. They didn't even take pictures on an actual camera. They take pictures on a Polaroid so they can put you on a board amongst all the other girls and like just pick out who they like the most.
Yeah.
So I took 3 Polaroid pictures, the front and two different sides. Oh, I'm sorry, 4, and then the back. So they got to see every side of me. And I remember that image in my head. And then next thing you know, I get a letter in the mail saying, and this is how they invite you into the mansion. They don't say that you got the part. They say, you're invited to this party. Let's like negotiate there. Right. So next thing I get this, the invite to the Playboy Mansion on New Year's Eve. And I was like, now, if I were to, what they do with women, because I got friends that were also trying to audition for Playboy. So they send you a letter and they say, sorry, we're not looking for brunettes at this time. Sorry, we're not looking for redheads at this time. So they go by your hair. So they will disqualify you by saying they're not looking for this. And so I got a good letter, and that's how my Playboy situation.
That's how it started. It began when you were much younger. It began with a Playboy. It ended with a Playboy.
Exactly. I Playboy.
You know what? I want to tell you something funny too, talking about being conservative and all that. Well, I grew up back in Czech Republic. My mom, single mother, a beautiful woman. And I remember in a bathroom, one of her friends who actually ended up in England was a playmate, and she had a full spread of her playmate friend, and she was Miss, was 1970 something. And, and that was me, like a little 6, 7, 8-year-old going, wow, that's a cool looking physique body, which is normal. So
yeah, exactly. It's beautiful. It's like the imagery that they put out there was beautiful.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, and it should be celebrated. I'm all for it. Yeah, I mean, it is just so backwards here, like watching when I came here from Eastern Europe, I'm watching the TV and, they'll rate it R because someone swears but God forbid you show nipple. It's like it's rated R. But when you hacking and stabbing, it's like PG-13. Like, what is this?
Yeah, it's backwards.
Oh, well, you guys are. I know we're in a tight time, and so I want to respect that too. But I really appreciate your time. Just real quick though, I just wanted to say you covered the whole gamut of different projects that you were involved in, and just whatever seemed like whatever you touched, it blossomed into something incredible. Do you still get excited? Can you still get excited about something? Do you have a project? Is it a movie or something that you look forward to creating?
Well, I'm an artist at heart. I believe people are either academically inclined, athletically inclined, or artistically inclined. And I'm artist. So artists get off creating things. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. But the best art is when you do something for yourself. There's 2 types of art. One is like, I look at the stuff in the art gallery and I try to paint that. Or you just make your own art and you just step back. When you can do your own art and step back and people dig it, that's the most rewarding thing in the world. So I'm on SVU. That's definitely my day job, but I just finished a new album I've been working on. I started recording again during COVID. I had a studio, then I put a studio in the house here, and I've been recording, and Coco knows that's when I'm happy. When I'm making music and and she always kind of hits me up. It's like, you have outlets. You do music. You get to say things. And, you know, she's right. She's right. I get to vent. I get to talk through my music. And yeah, so there's a new album coming out. I'm gonna drop it probably in June. It's called Criminal Migraine.
Huh.
And it's the dilemma that goes on in anybody's head who might have been from the streets, who solve problems differently, and now you're legit, and you keep having those flashbacks of how it would have been. You know, that's when somebody crosses you and they do you wrong. We didn't call the lawyers. We just went and knocked on their door, right? So, but I can't do that no more. I can't do that now. I'm legit. So you have a criminal migraine. You have this thing in your head that says, "Oh, you know," and it's the fight between, I guess, the way you used to handle things and the way now your life is. And it's basically an album telling people to get out of the game. That's over. Do the right thing. I think the most important thing anybody can do in life is inspire people. And my job is to inspire people to find themselves. Just be yourself. Whatever that happens to be honest about it. Because yourself is good enough. Because nobody's better than anybody. So, you know, if you want to have blue hair, then put some blue hair on. That's what you do. And I think, like, street cats, we only respect real. Like, if I could catch you posing, if I could catch you trying to be something you're not, we got you. But if you're real, if you're a surfer, you're a surfer. Be a surfer. That's all we want. Just be a surfer. So that's what it is. It's the criminal migraine. I'm not streaming because I hate streaming. I think that's the biggest ripoff that ever happened in music history. You know, I
think all musicians think that way.
Oh, come on, you know how much we get paid for a stream?
No.
Do you know, Denise?
No, I know.
0.007 cents per stream. Now, I never even met a pimp that could break down a penny. Okay, these motherfuckers have figured out how to break a penny down to point. You're an attorney. Run the numbers. 0.007 cents. So to make $1 million, I mean, you need over 1 billion streams. You need billions and billions of streams.
Right.
So I'm going back to icetea.com. Come to my website. I'll sell you the record for $8, $9. You get a t-shirt, you get a hat, you get some other things. Physical copy that you own. That's what I'm doing this year with the Criminal Migraine album. And I sold millions of records, so I'm really, really just trying to reactivate my fans that liked my music in the past. I don't need any new fans, just my fans. Come check out the new album, and I'll be cool with it. So that's what's up.
That's true. That's kind of like what I like to do too with my fans. Just, you know, roll with what you have and just make them happy, you know?
Yeah, the biggest mistake you can make is turning the back on the people that love you and attempt to reach other people that don't give a fuck about you.
So true. Yes.
You know, there's nobody out there that everybody likes. So you just figure out who fucks with you and you roll with them.
Yeah.
And if you roll with them, you'll be safe. But if they catch you reaching, like, they're like, why do you care about them? They don't like us. Right. Let's just rock it out. So that's what we're doing with this new album. And we got some body count tours this year, which Coco goes on. Chanel is a big part of body count. She's learning guitar, so hopefully she'll be able to open up There Goes the Neighborhood this year. We want her to play the opening licks on that. That'll hit the internet. That'll explode.
Oh yeah. Oh, she's adorable. Oh my gosh. Hey Coco, I bet it was that when you had Chanel, how did parenting change you?
You know what? I'm actually surprised with myself because I didn't know what kind of mother I was going to be. I was actually worried because we had this conversation before I was a mom. And I was like, what if she doesn't like, or I knew at that point I was going to have a girl, but I was like, what if she doesn't like me? What if I'm a bad mom? What if we don't bond? I was so worried about the bonding. And he's like, no, I'm not worried about that because how you bond with your dogs, you could see the true person you are, like the warm, compassionate person. And I was like, I don't know. I'm not like that with dogs, but what a person is different. So when I had Chanel, it was like, I was already like looking into like nurses to help me breastfeed. Like I was already looking into help before she even came.
Oh.
And when she came, I didn't want any help. I was like, screw that.
Yeah.
I can do this. I just was like amazed myself that like we had such like a pure bond that I couldn't disconnect with her. I couldn't leave for a certain amount of time out of the house.
I was very confident that Coco was going to be a great mom. You know, they say
he was always confident. I wasn't.
Because they say, you know, before a woman has a baby, get her a plant.
Well, I don't know about a plant.
See if the plant lives.
Not everybody is good with plants.
Get a plant, then get a pet, then you get the dog, the baby.
Yeah.
But she was also concerned with, you know, we've been together 15 years,
Yeah.
and we had a lifestyle, and she was wondering, like, would this baby change our lifestyle? I'm like, nah, the child will adapt to the lifestyle. You want a tour, you tuck the baby up under your arm and you go.
Right.
The baby will adapt. My son grew up in a recording studio. They'll adapt to whatever lifestyle it is. So Chanel has been on the road with us. She hustles. She goes out to dinner with us. You know, she goes to 5-star restaurants and sits there politely because I taught her, I said, well, look, Chanel, you know, I never use when kids curse words and all that, I never use that. I use the philosophy. There's an adult world and there's a kid world. There's benefits in being in the kid world. Like when you're in the kid world, you get Santa Claus, you get all the Easter Bunny and all that shit. Once you're an adult, you don't get that no more. That's gone. So when we're out, I say, you're in the adult world. Look around the room. Do you see any other kids?
Right.
No. So you have to behave like an adult now.
And people around her, they think she's an adult. Like how they talk, they're very mature when they talk to her. She responds to it with a very, that when she answers back, it's very knowledgeable. Like she's telling you all this knowledge. I'm like, where did this come from?
Like, you too. That came from you. That's a testament.
They do learn from your parents. Yes.
Yeah.
And children learn from your parents.
And when she's in the kid world, she gets to just be a kid.
Yeah.
Know?
But as far as all of my businesses, I put everything on the back burner. I had like all these websites, I had my clothing line, I had all this stuff that I just like pushed to the side. And when I say pushed aside, I closed it down. Like I closed my websites down. I closed my clothing line. And I had like two things where I had a swimsuit line and a clothing line. It was just like, you know what? I want to be a mom. Like I want to shut this down. Not completely, but I really like being a mom, like a full-time mom, you know, managing the house. I call myself a house manager, managing the house, you know, managing schedules.
Me.
Him. Like there's a lot of juggling I do. I can't do me.
And Coco, for the record, we don't have housekeepers. And
really?
We don't have nannies.
Wow.
She does everything herself. You know, every once a month or something like that, we might have somebody come, like we call deep clean stuff.
Deep clean.
Right.
We have a lot of chrome and glass.
But we don't have like help, so to speak. You know,
that's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot, and it's almost like overwhelming because it's almost like I don't have time to do anything else because I'm managing everybody else.
Picking Chanel up, taking her to school, taking her to kung fu, taking her to guitar lesson, taking her to dance class. Taking it in. She's a super mom, you know. But
I got my 1,000 dogs too. It's a lot of juggling. But back to the business part, I feel like that's why, and I wanted to mention this because always people are like, why did you ever mention it? I did an OF page because I was able to take all of my risque, like Playboy style pictures from there that I do on Instagram and put it over there. So I can make money as a like a, what would you say, like a school mom? I don't know. I guess
it's like Playboy level.
Yeah.
She just took her style and took it. It's not, it's like her thing says this is not a porn site. You know, this is just
assume that.
It's just what Coco's been doing for years, the swimsuit stuff, the basic stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
I took it off Instagram and then I put it there. But the thing is, like, I can make my money and still, do stuff around the house and I'm not worried about it. So I feel like I constantly have to be doing something for, business wise. And it gives me a chance to do that, So I think a lot of mothers ask me about it because I know they're like either want to get into it or they want to know how to get involved. So I always give them like tips, but it's like an easy way to kind of just to do it, to put it up on your page and post whenever you want. And then bang, you know, you get a check.
Yeah, you can control the temperature. I mean, and that's the thing people got to understand with anything. You can make something like me with music. I can make it as violent as I want. I can make it as positive as I want.
Yeah.
So with her, she's like, I can control what I put out and how I feel comfortable doing it. I'm not pushing the line or anything. And fortunately, because she's always been in that swimsuit space, she's got a fan base that just wants to see that. And I
do have a big fan base.
But you know, me myself, when you marry a swimsuit model, you married a swimsuit model. That's what it is. Honestly, her being a swimsuit model has kept me in shape. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I never wanted to be that guy in the swimming pool with the shirt on. Like, I'm like, yo, if I got I gotta stay up the par.
You have to keep
I never
up.
wanted people to look at it like, why is she with that fat ass motherfucker? Like, what the fuck's going on? So she keeps me on point, you know?
We see plenty of those out there. I know. It's like, yeah, that's love. No, hell no, it's not love.
That's not love.
Yeah. No way. Wow, this is, you know, this is, well, guys, this has been really fun. You know, more than that though, it was real, you know, and that's the whole point. So I want to thank you so much for letting us get past the image a little bit, you know, into who you are behind all that. I mean, you're just so chill. It's so easy to talk to. And the main thing I noticed, just very transparent. It's just, there's nothing, you know, there's nothing pretentious. This is who you are. And I think that's great. You own yourself and the stuff you've done and keep doing. And so I thank you. This has been really awesome.
You know what, Denise, let me just say, end it like this. There was a moment in my life where I realized that telling the truth and being honest and transparent was a brand.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many people that are so full of it out here, and just being yourself, people connect to that. And when it's like the gates of heaven just opened up, and it was like, just be yourself. There's people that fuck with you. They like the way you are.
Yeah.
And you know, me and Coco, people watch Ice Loves Coco, and they enjoyed that. That's kind of got a resurgence now on TikTok, right?
Yeah, it went viral. I mean, this is, you know, a decade later, it's gone viral on Facebook and TikTok. And I was like, it actually got my daughter loving me more because she's on TikTok and she's like, Mommy, you're viral right now. You're viral. Oh my God, Disney. I guess Disney characters, you know, that she would know are liking her page because of Ice Loves Coco. So now I'm cool for a quick minute. I'm cool.
You're the cool mom.
I'm a cool mom.
That's like Kevin Hart said. They asked Kevin Hart once how does his kids react to his movie? He said they don't care, but bring a TikToker up in here, they'll lose their minds. So
yeah. So true.
So you elevated like instantly, like
Right.
That's so cute. Wow.
Yes. But I appreciate all the women that come. I do a lot of grocery shopping. I do this. I do like normal stuff, and women come up to me because first of all, they always hear my laugh. I didn't know my laugh was like a thing, but they'll hear my laugh and they go, "I knew it was you." I was like, "That's so odd." So I will always take pictures, and they're always like, you always feel like, and that's why I always put my bio best friend to everybody, because they always come up and they say, "You're like my best friend." You're like, they'll come up and they'll talk about their whole life. Like it's a genuine thing. And they're like, you know, you look the same as you do. Cause you know, sometimes you look a little different on Instagram than real person. And that's the one thing that they say is that, I don't know why they say that. I don't know if this is bad. They say I look better in person.
No, that's good.
I'm like,
that's good.
Well, what do I look online then?
No, that's good. It's better. If somebody walks up to me and says you look better in person, the opposite would be like, you look better on TV. Like, no.
Right.
So the personal thing, you know, but let me end it with this. Coco is the nicest person I've ever met in my life. And this is 25 years later. She's still the nicest person. And she's nice to a fault. She's nice to a fault. She's nice to people that she maybe shouldn't be nice to. But she's really a nice person. And that's why I love her. And that's why, you know, when I met her, I like, this is the rest of the way out. This is my plan, you know, till it, you know, whatever happens to me. But I plan on living to 100.
That's the goal here. I'm telling you, everybody's like, oh yeah, 70, 80s are like the
stay in
like
shape.
over the hill. I'm like, the goal is to live to 100. Let's make that happen.
I'm gonna live to 100, and she'll be my young chick. She'll be 80.
Ooh, nice. You'll look the same. You'll sound the same.
I'll still be 80-year-old in like a thong, you know, still posing, making people upset online. Like, she's 80 years old. Where's she got a thong on?
Okay, now as long as Ice is not wearing a Speedo white.
Oh yeah, I'm not really for that. No, we could pass on that. No.
I'd have to get one specially made though.
Oh my God.
See, now we're moving on to another episode.
Right, exactly.
I now start my OnlyFans page.
Oh my gosh! Well,
now
that is. We should make this like the regular thing, but this has been awesome. Thank you so much, and you know, to our viewers and listeners, definitely check out the links below. And really, until next time, I say stay curious and stay inspired.